Good Friday evening after Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoyed Black Friday. I stayed home. I'm not a real big crowd person. Mm-mm. The other day, I started to answer a question from that was posted in Top Notch Wood Shops or workshops, and a Facebook group, and it's a miter saw bench. I tried to go into Trimble's warehouse. Nothing loads in Sketchup 8, so they've corrupted all the files for 8, which I kind of expected them to. They want to really ding us for a lot of money, so okay, we just won't use their stuff. Most of it's crap anyway. I even got into an argument with a gal once about it, and I showed her what I was talking about, and she says, well, then my stuff is crap by your definition also, because all they'll do is put skins on things. They don't make it real. They just, it's like a picture. Junk. Can't use it to build anything with. What I'm doing looking down here is I'm setting up my, by the way, it's this little gizmo. It is by 3D Connections, and if you're going to use a 3D drafting program of any sort, you really need one of these. You can get them for less than $100 or for on sale for less than 90. I know you guys that don't like drafting are going to say, oh my God, it's too much, but you probably have Weissmeyer fences that are $1,500, so don't give me that crap. Okay, now I'll start screen share, and we'll go back into where we left off. This is the bench. It's made out of 2x4s and 18 millimeter covered MDF. So it's got a nice smooth surface on top, and it's fairly flat. These 2x4s are standard off the big box store shelves, so they're not dry and elbow. So they are 1.5 by 3.5. Now, if you want to true them up some, your dimensions will all be a little bit different. I couldn't get a dimension on how thick the miter saw base would be, so I just winged it, and I made it. Well, we'll find out what I made it. This is dimension, and it worked, sort of. I made it 3.5 inches thick. It'll be thicker, it'll be thinner. And the same with these reinforcing 2x4s under the table. I set these up so you could just use lag screws through the table to hold it on now. Your preference on all that stuff. One of the comments was, how do I put a base under it? And a comment answer to that was, when you do it, put angled legs on it. My throat is beginning to really hurt. Sorry about that, guys. To give it a little more stability. And some of the guys were making it 2 feet, saying make the table itself 2 feet. I don't have that kind of room in my shop, so I ended up making this one 18 inches, which is, if you even have a 12-inch sliding compound miter, I don't think you're going to need 2 feet. If you do, fine, make it bigger, but man, that's just honking huge. So this beam, this reinforcement here, I don't like where it's at. This one kind of in a dumb spot too. It'd be better if it was probably right over here to lag bolt them together. These were just thrown in as, let's see what it looked like, to get something there to work with, so we can move things around. I really think that this lower section is probably too big. I'll put a dimension on it so you can see what that is. That's 5 feet in itself. Probably if it were 4 feet or even 3 feet, it would be big enough. The advantage we have here, though, is if I move this beam over to here, I'll try to move it so that it looks halfway good. This is the move button. Select a point, slide it, and we'll go over to this one and do the same thing. Select it, select move. There. We have a very nice, extremely heavily reinforced beam section there. And I'm just going to take this one and move it a little bit, just so it kind of centers up. Now, to find out, there are multiple ways to do this centering feature. Usually the easiest way for me is just to throw 2 dimensions on it. And 50/64 is not a whole lot of difference. So I'll grab it again and move it just a little bit. Actually, if I move it 25/64, it should be. Well, I'll see. We are now a 1/16 of an inch off. So I'm going to move it 0.04 and let it sit there. And I'll move this other one using dimension first from here to here and from here to here. And I have no idea why there were dimensions. That little tilde in front means it's sort of 9 3/32. It could be more, it could be less. Moving the wrong one. It will do what you tell it to, even if you don't want it to do it. Okay, that is a bad dimension. Let's put a new one on. If they turn, I should have known that. I mean, I do, but I didn't think it was critical. If they turn red, it means something has gone nuts. Somehow I selected the begin point for it, and it didn't really exist where I was trying to move it to. Now, in this one, we have several options. We can just leave it heavily reinforced, or we can go ahead and put in a nice sliding drawer here. It's a little more complicated when you're doing it through 2 separate components, but it can be done. So let's put drawers here, and a little drawer here, here, and another big drawer here. So first thing I want to do is make sure I'm just in my miter saw model, the whole thing. I don't want to create anything inside of one of my components because it won't work on the next one. Okay, now we'll see how big this is. And here's where it can get, actually, if I'd been real smart, I would have done it a different way. let's just move this one up until we get a real dimension. That's good enough. 1 and 7 or 5, 7, 30 seconds. I can handle that one a little bit. In fact, leaving it oversized might not be a bad idea. Well, I thought I had it. There. So I want to figure out what I want to do. Here's where it's easier to do it on a computer than it is on paper. But you can sit here and kind of scratch your head, and it's easy to get rid of things. You don't have to erase much. I think I'm going to make it 15 inches. So I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to move it 30 seconds. And I think I'll make this one 5.5. Okay, now I'll just change it. It's going to be really flaky. I have no idea why it wants to go swirly like that. There, 5.5 by 15. So I have an object that I can use in multiple spots. And I'm going to reuse it. I'm going to select the move function. First, I'm going to select that. And now I'll select move, and I will hold my control key down, and you can see when I control key is held down, hit it again, my cursor changes. Let's just move it 41 inches and see what kind it looks like. Not too bad. Ow. Since these are in, they're subcomponents of two components. This can get kind of strange, but if we go into this component here, we can go ahead, make sure it's active, and use that existing geometry and then extrude that in 1.5. And do the same thing here. And we can get rid of this thing. And now we have an opening that I had forgot I had not made my parts unique. This is something you have to be concerned about, since these two components, I used the same one here and here. Now, when you do that, you're working in a component with the same name, same identity. You're going to get the same effect in the other component. So what I'm going to have to do is go back into this one and make this one unique, which is a mouse button 3. The flyout comes up, and then you say make unique. And then make it active, and just drag this thing shut. Except it didn't drag shut. There. And I need to go over here and make this one unique, or I'll have the same hole and the same problem. And then go down here. Now, if you have this in the middle of the floor, you might want drawer openings on both sides. I figure it's going to be against the wall, so I don't. Make unique. And close that one up. Now I have got some extra geometry in here. In some places I might have a line or two that I don't want, but right now that's okay. So now let's go ahead and make this active. My hotkey for rectangle is R, and I cannot emphasize enough to use hotkeys in this program. In fact, any program that you use that has hotkey capability, use them. I don't like typing, and I don't like poking at the screen menus. So if I can hit a hotkey and get the job done with one click or two strokes, more power to me. I have carpal tunnel. Trust me, you don't want it. Okay, now we have some drawers here, or some drawer openings. I'm not going to create the drawers right now. I am going to go to the other end of either end of my table and put some legs in. I'm going to keep the back legs straight and just angle the front legs out about 4 inches. So here's where you've got to decide how you want your legs to be hooked on. Inboard, outboard, dadoed in. You know, there's just hundreds of ways to put legs on a base. Obviously, the easiest one is keep them square, make them 4x4, and just smack big leg bolts through it. Well, let's not just be obvious. Here's where I wish I had somebody actually watching what I was doing and saying, hey, well, why don't you try it this way? And then I could show them how to do something specific, but nobody watches. So how do I want to do this? I want to have a 2x4. So I'm going to show you draw, create board. I'm going to make it 29, which is probably not right. 1.5 and 3.5. Oops. 0.5. And you said, okay, it's going to come out the wrong direction, but I can move it after it's created. If it's created, where'd it go? Ooh. Everything went nuts. Let's try that again. Great board. There. That was more than a little bit strange. Now you can see that my board was just in space, laying in the wrong direction. It was just, I cut it off and that's where it ended up. What I want to do is rotate it 90 degrees this way. and it didn't do 90. Always be careful when you're doing stuff on here, because you might think it's doing what you want, and then when you let off on the mouse button, it just says supplies. And if you know the joke, it's an ugly racist joke. It insults almost all races, if the whole joke does. Okay, now I have lost my floor plane. So what I'm going to do is just create a big there. Now I know where my floor is. So I'm going to move this down 4.5 inches. And then see if it's punched through my floor or not. Yep, a little bit. So we'll get a dimension here from this point out to here. Oh, I know why we're getting weird dimensions. My 18 millimeter thick bench top is not 3/4 of an inch. So that's where we're getting this little 45/64. So it just kind of sucks that way. Okay, let's move it up and hope that it hasn't gone too nuts. And we'll make that component active and drag this up using what they call push-pull. 4.5. Now, I'm going to hide by selecting one and holding the control key down. I'll do it again. Hold the control key down, you get two of them. You see my cursor change shape. And then you can just go over here into the outliner and then mouse button 3 and select hide. Now, make my 2x4 active again. I want to have some guidelines in it. And to create guidelines, use a tape measure tool. Why? I don't know. I didn't create the program. Okay, we have a guideline there. We have a guideline there. You would think using a tape measure tool that you could actually, you can't. I never actually looked down here. You can get an info on size. Now, it does do actually what it says, but the construction line or guideline feature being tucked in here doesn't make a lot of sense. But at least now I know. I just learned something like this. There. And I think I want to make this one 1.25 this way. Nope. 1.125. And do the same thing this way. 1.125. And here I'm going to use the protractor function and we'll create an angle guide. And I'm going to create it at 9 degrees. And I'm going to make another one here at 9 degrees. And using this guideline, I am going to bring one down 2.5, I think. That might be too big. Let me show back in my select it, grab the wrong one, select it, mouse button 3, unhide. Yes, 2.5 is too far. Okay. Select these two again. That one, mouse button 3, hide. Sometimes I can't see what I'm doing. And I really should have found out how much I can actually move it. There, I'm just going to make it there. I'll fix it later. Okay, now, using the line function, which would be my hotkey L, I'm going to go in and I'm going to put some hard geometry in here, do the same thing here. And I wasn't in my work part. I thought I was. I thought I selected it, but I hadn't. Unhide that one again. Yeah, the shoulder is a little bit wrong. You know something? For the time being, what I'm doing, that's going to be okay. Go into my line function. I have got that component active. Start from here to here, from here to there. My computer's acting really slow tonight. Remember what I said about if you do something to one and they have all the same name, you get it to everything? Well, I just did it to myself again. And right now, I'm going to leave it because the point is I'm trying to show how to make a dovetail. Okay. Select that one, unhide. And I will go in and use my... Now you can see that it fights you on creating geometry sometimes. It wants to do it where it wants to, regardless of what you might think you want to do. I'm going to have to clean up on my computer or something. I can't even get it to reset. Come on. There. Okay, go back to this one. And go to my line function, which for me is hotkey L, from here to here, and from here to here, and then shove it in. There. Go back into this one, unhide that sucker. There. It's not the prettiest dovetailed leg in the world, but it's at least a leg. Now, edit, delete guides. Now, we can do the same thing for the front leg. You just have to make the dovetail angled. You can actually take this leg here if you want, and we'll copy it, but we won't keep it copied. I'll make this sucker unique now. There. Now, if I want, let's say, a 5-degree go right here. You can see down in the corner, my dimensions are changing where it says angle. I'm just going to type in a 5. And we'll go down, and here's some more keys. We'll look at some views. Unfortunately, it's not giving me straight views. The right end, well, the right view, it's not the right end. There's the side we're actually working on. We can change these angles, that length and that angle. Obviously, it's got to be moved back some anyway. So let's move first. Okay, that's not too bad. And let's take it from there down. Now, something I want to show. It just went totally nuts. It jumped to about 7 feet on me. Crap. Yeah, 69 inches. Now I will get a point here and move it to there and try to understand why it did that to me. I'm going to hide this component because if you just take this and try to rotate it, it'll go weird. See, my left-hand wall is changing sizes. So let's try just grabbing this point, and now let's rotate that line element 5 degrees. Nope, it's changing it too. And if you try to just grab this and move it up, it's going to move this way, not this way. I'll try to move it that way. But see, it's just moving straight up. It's not. If you start doing really stupid things with it, it goes nuts. So, hit escape and spacebar a lot of times there. For this kind of an issue, you need to go back to guidelines again. This one, I have no idea why it did that. And it should be 5 degrees. We also need one here. Actually, we need one at this point, I think. So let's go ahead and do this again. Rotate. It's changing my dimension. There. That's because I was rotating rather than putting a guideline in. And that's the second time my protractor jumped on the screen. I'm not too sure why. Okay, now we have some geometry that we can work with here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this intersection point and create a line from there across. I'm going to create one from there to there. You can see I just got a surface developed. Now I have the requisite surface for my shoulder. Let's see if line will work again, coming from here out to there. Nope, went away. That's not at 5 degrees. Aha! That line is no good. Let's delete that one. Now we have a surface here. This is another way to get the same beast killed off. And it might not look right. So let's unhide this one. And it doesn't. That's got to come up a lot farther. That was my mistake for not leaving that other information in. So, since I've got this here, there, I'm going to go ahead and put a line element as close as I can, because it's telling me that something is not perfectly lined up here when I'm moving this stuff and it's jumping around, and I'm not sure why not. Okay, go into line from here to here. Let's try from here to there and get rid of this, get rid of this. Let's see if we can use that and shove it through. Not very well. We'll delete that. Delete this one. And let's try putting the line back in again. There. There. Now I have my angled dovetail created. For one thing, it's looking ugly because I don't have the dovetail yet in that other part. Get rid of some of my extra lines. Okay, now I'm going to use the paintbrush function. There it comes up. Adding color to your materials can help a whole lot in keeping things square, well, straight in your mind, not square. Okay, now I want to bring this one back in, unhide that. Now, so you can see a much better idea of, okay, when I rotate it slightly, it starts highlighting and getting weird. But that tells me where my component is that I need to use for my parts. Line function again, here to add here, and here to here. Hide this one. And here. Now we have a dado pocket through a whole bunch of parts, which I didn't want, but that's because I did it wrong. Not thinking fully from one day of the lesson to the next on what was going to happen. If you do this all at once as a flow, you don't make as many screw-ups. So now, Alt-B again. I want to make this a slightly lighter brown, brownish weird color. And this one I'm going to make a dull green. The whole thing. There. Now you can begin to see what doesn't look right, what might look right. Oh yeah, I have pointy legs down here. This has got to be fixed. Things like that can just be done. One nice thing about it is, since I screwed up kind of uniformly everywhere with my, I said dado earlier, I meant dovetail. I can select both of these, and then I can go into my move function and grab this corner. You can see it's actually moving it now. I want to leave a copy, so I hit my control key. As a matter of fact, I think I actually want 4 sets of them. So I will do that, and I will grab them again, and I will copy them another time from this corner all the way to the end, if I can get it to zoom out far enough that I can hold it. Now, you are probably saying, why are these separate? Because I made them that way. If your order process is to have these connected to the tabletop before you do your cabinet work, that's fine. I haven't done this long enough to know which is best, so I'm doing it this way to show how to get it done. Because if you want these 4 into component 6, wait a minute, why do I have, there's the other one, into component 5, you would just click them here and drag them down into component 5, and then these would all be integral with the base part. But I think I just moved up, so let's try something here. Let's bring this one back in, because I think I have a whole bunch of stuff in the way there. Let's unhide everything. Ah, yes, my little chickadee. You can't do that, Brucey, old boy. Here's where hide and bring back in. We'll give you some ideas on oopses. I had a good idea, except if I want to do that, these 4 have to be shorter to fit in here. And we'd also have to have, there just have to be more stuff done. So these legs would not fit here, but they will fit at each end. Okay, that's going to be it for tonight. My voice is going. And you'll notice I talked all this time and never hit save. And that, sports fans, is stupid. Because this program likes to bite you. And when it bites you, it upsets you. So beat the program. Save often. Thanks. This will be posted on my iSketchup You Can Do Facebook page. It'll be posted here. It'll be posted in my iSketchup You Can Do Pinterest page, and also on the same name in YouTube. So thanks for looking. Please give me some comments on what I can do, what you'd like to see. if you have an idea on what should happen with this, send a comment. I can't read your mind. It's kind of difficult to just create classes out of thin air. The only recompense that I'm asking is either a comment or a like or a dislike in one of those. I prefer likes. I'm not going to BS you. I prefer likes, but I know I don't do everything right. So if you have an idea of how I missed my opportunity to teach you something specific, please tell me. Thanks. Good night.